Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the post-match pint in association with Purity. Use the code #VillaView at checkout and you'll get 10% off all your Purity goodies. I'm Dan Bardell, joined by world famous Chris Dolan, Twitter famous Ty Bracey and YouTube famous Max Stokes. And I presume we're all very, very happy because, to be fair, Villa playing in second gear, Ty, and they've won 2-0.
Yeah, mate. I mean, first half, unreal, mate. We're in control of the game for all of the game, but first half we gave them. There was times where they pressured us a little bit, but we looked fully in control of the game, mate. And I expected 3 points today, and we comfortably got it. So happy times.
Yeah, I mean, Max, it was a bit like last season's game in some respects. We were 2-0 up at half time, never really in any trouble. I mean, I suppose the difference between this season and last season is you're probably never worried this season, whereas last season there was probably a nagging doubt in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it was always going to be comfortable. I think it's the game we needed as well, especially after a difficult game against Man City the other day. I think, for a side that hasn't won since Crystal Palace as well, I think it was massively important for us to get a result on the board as well, especially with a load of games in hand. I think it's vital that we start those games in hand with a win as well. It was always easy. Like you said, didn't get out of second gear. Nothing really happened in the second half, but end of the day, we got the job done in the first half. A couple of really good goals, and I'm absolutely buzzing to see Ollie Watkins get off the mark. Bit of a strange goal. The goalkeeper was a little bit weird in what happened there, but either way, we got the result. Clean sheet as well, which is absolutely massive. Would have liked a couple more in the second half, but we can't complain. 3 points on the board, easy as you like.
Yeah, and Dolan, I've come to you last because you were messing around as we were about to go on air. I've been saying to you all week, Ollie Watkins for the goal, and it's great to see him off the mark because he deserves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows, even, Carragher touched on commentary. The fact he hasn't scored in 9, it never worried me because he still offered so much to the team, and his hold-up play is phenomenal. His closing down is like non-stop. He's got great energy. He's quick. He's powerful. He's just a really, really fantastic footballer, and so pleased to see him get off the mark. And that's the only problem is not seeing him add to his tally. It's the only kind of slight negative. Just would like to have seen a couple more in the bag for Watkins, because if there's any player that deserves more goals, and he's 9 for the season. He could easily be on 11 or 12. He's had a couple of really unfair VAR decisions, and then you look at Palace, he did everything but score off the post. But no, absolutely delighted for him, mate. And just another quick mention from Matt Targett. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. To come off with exhaustion on Wednesday, and then to go again after that shift he put in on Wednesday was absolutely incredible. And it's just great to see. Great to see.
Yeah, I mean, Watkins had another one chalked off tonight, which was an excellent finish on his left foot as well, Max. I suppose after the effort the lads put in on Wednesday against Man City, and obviously on the wrong end of a decision, it was good to be on the right end of a decision tonight as well. But another 90 minutes in the tank for most of them, Max, will be good for fitness.
Yeah, definitely. Like Chris said, I'm massively impressed by Matt Targett. And since the Man City game, he's come out and said that he was one of them with COVID during the break. So to have coronavirus and come and perform like that against a world-class Man City side, and then just be, fantastic against a Newcastle side and get the job done, it's so impressive. And I saw a comment come up there. Everyone's talking about Consta potentially getting called up for England. Why can't Matt Targett get in there? Chilwell's struggling at Chelsea, so I don't see why he's not, in contention at least. But yeah, we just got the job done tonight. And I think Consta especially, I'm so impressed at him at the moment. He's just absolutely fantastic. He's just leading the way at such a young age as well. What is he, 23? It's just fantastic to see, and he's developing so well. And I think a lot of the players are as well. It's just so good to see all the players developing as one under Dean Smith, and it's just so encouraging. And yeah, it's just a really, really good performance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, Ty, you could make a case for the entire back four. Obviously Tyrone Mings is, but you could make a case for the entire back four to be in England contention, really, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing some serious football, mate. Defensively, they're brilliant. I mean, we won't talk about individual mistakes because that'll just cause some unnecessary controversy. It's not needed. But as a unit, as a back five, and include Martinez, they're just incredible, mate. The times of being on the counter-attack, you don't have those flutters in your stomach like we have done last season of where you're like, oh, here we go. What's going to happen here? they're just as a defensive unit, they're solid, you know, and Martinez and Matty Cash just come into the team like they've always been there, fitting, gelling, just doing the job that Dean expects of them, you know. So I couldn't be happier, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Dolan, I don't think Martinez will have an easier game all season, really. I mean, it was vintage Steve Bruce, really, wasn't it? That, as he would say, they didn't really lay a glove on us.
He just can't seem to get past the Dean Smith team. You think of the times that when Bruce was manager at Aston Villa, we could never beat Brentford. He could just never, you know. I think when he sees a Dean Smith team come at him, he seems to be defeated, you know, because he just can't get past them. But they were absolutely diabolical. I mean, I know people are saying about Newcastle and, you know, what do they expect and what do they want, but I mean, they just want to see a bit of fight and a bit of passion. You know, I mean, it is so dull. It is so dull. And you see these managers like Sam Allardyce and Steve Bruce. I'm sorry, but the game's moved on. The game has moved on, you know. It's about tactics. It's about playing good football. It's about passing the ball. It's about keeping it on the deck. It's about, you know, being easy on the eye. And they're just none of that. And, you know, if I was a Newcastle fan, like I've got a friend of mine who works for 442, and I was asking him this morning if he was going to watch the game. He's a big Newcastle fan, and he said he's just going to watch a film with his missus. He didn't bother, like he just like, and I know how he feels. I've been there, you know, over the years with Villa. There's times you're just like, I can't have this anymore. Like this is just not. It's just not fun. It's no fun. And you know, hearing him say that, like, you know, I felt for him, but I certainly feel his pain.
Yeah, he'd have definitely been better off watching the film tonight, depending on what it was, I guess. And a match with Newcastle, I think the game we started a little bit, not tentatively, but a little bit slow. It felt a little bit rusty still. Obviously, we haven't had loads of games recently. Newcastle lined up with a three at the back, which was a bit weird, I thought, because Bruce was talking about doing it his way the game before, and he played I think he played 4-4-2 in the game before. Do you think we were taken a little bit surprised by him going back to the system that he said he wasn't going to use? I mean, he makes it up as he goes along.
Yeah, he does, and we've seen it before at Villa as well. I remember Bristol City away. I think it was in 2017 to 2018. It was Bristol City away, and we went three at the back. It was like Samba, John Terry, and James Chester, and that's the sign of Steve Bruce panicking. We can all see it. 4-4-2 isn't working, so we'll play three at the back and panic. And you know, they got their fullbacks further forward tonight, and they were swinging in a lot of balls. And with Andy Carroll, you know, it's an okay tactic, you know, but Tyrone Mings that just headed everything away, and nothing came off for Newcastle tonight. And even when they were 2-0 down, they looked lackluster. No one really took the game by the scruff of the neck and looked bothered at all. So, like, if I was a Newcastle fan, I couldn't be bothered. Like Chris said, I wouldn't really want to watch the game. So, but who cares? You know, it's a Villa channel. We're here to talk about Villa, and we're just an absolute joy to watch at the moment. Getting 3 points on the board all over the place, and it's just so good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Tolly, that they had a few warnings, Newcastle, but before the goal, Target swung a ball in just before, actually, that got cleared. I remember the halftime analysis from Sky, and then obviously we had the goal that Watkins tucked away. A little bit suspect with the old offside again. I mean, I guess legally it's correct. Like the goal that was against us was legally correct the other night, but it's one of them where you'd be a little bit unhappy if it was given against you, wouldn't you? For it not to even be looked at.
Yeah, I mean, I expected it to be looked at. You know, I had seen a couple of people tweet, you know, that they now don't celebrate when they score; they celebrate when they, you know, the other team kick off.
Yeah,
you know, that's pretty much the way, you know, modern football is nowadays, especially in the Premier League. Yeah, I was really surprised that didn't get looked at. To be fair, you know, Stockley Park ruled that straight away. I was like, no, not offside. But you know, you'd expect to at least see some lines on your screen, but. No, absolutely nothing. So, you know, I was over the moon, mate.
Yeah, I mean, usually when Watkins scores, we have at least a 10-minute VAR overview. We've got 3 or 4 lines up on the screen. It was quite strange for Watkins to score and then not to spend 10 minutes looking at it, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm over the moon for him, to be fair, mate. You know, 9 goals about a game probably doesn't do a lot for your confidence. You know, so for him to get a goal. You know, I tweeted about it earlier. You know, we're so lucky to have him. I feel like I'm so glad that we've signed him. You know, when you look at Newcastle as an example, and Andy Carroll scored 1 goal in 46 games. Like,
I've scored more than that.
Exactly, and you know, it's just been it's really good for him to get on the score sheet, mate. You know, I think it'll do wonders for his confidence. You know, so as usual, he's putting the legs in as well. He's really, when people highlight it to you that he's putting the legs in and you watch his game, you really realise the length of the pitch, that he really does run. He's tracking back and he's always pressing that back line to get him behind. He's always coming short for a ball as well when plays in our own half. I'm really happy with him, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, he stretches defences as well, which is a really, really important thing, especially at Villa Park. I think he makes the pitch bigger for the players who want the space, like Grealish and Barkley. And I think that's really, really key. And Dolan, another summer signing, Traore, for someone who hasn't got a right foot, he scored a couple of decent goals with his right foot this season.
Yeah, he seems to score worldies, man. I mean, there's a few times in the game where he tries to make it a bit clever and few flicks and tricks, but but why not? That's what you want to see. As I said before, it's all about entertainment. But no, he looks great. He looks really good, and he looks like he's growing with confidence in every game. I thought I kind of watched him closely because I know there's been a few issues about his tracking back, and I watched him kind of closely tonight, and he was supporting Matty Cash all night, and he was back there, and he was really working that channel. He was up and down that channel all night, and he was just quality on the ball, just absolute quality, and. Yeah, that little touch that he took to just completely leave Almiron for dead, and then the sort of the 1-2 with Jack was just sensational, and yeah, absolutely amazing. Not sure what they were complaining about. I think Newcastle players, but
goalkeeper foul on the goalkeeper, but that was soft.
So, but no, again, another great game, and he's racking the numbers up. Wouldn't it be nice to see? A couple of players in double figures this season. That's what we've lacked. We've lacked consistent goals across the park. And what's he on now? Has he got five or six maybe this season?
Probably in all competitions. Yeah, he's probably on 5 at least. I'd say
5 or 6. Trez is on a couple. Watkins is on 9. Jacko's on 3 or 4. So, I mean, it's just great to spread the goals around. And I thought like I said, in the WhatsApp, it felt like a training game. It was a training game all night. We didn't even have to play well to beat them. We didn't have to play well. And again, as Max said, it was probably the perfect game for us to come into. We just needed to kind of stop the rot. I know we have one since Palace, but just stop those little run, that little run of defeats we had with United and City, and just get back to winning ways. And we've almost equalled last season's tally already, and we've only played 17 games. So quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. I think. If we can finish top 6, top 7, Dean Smith should get Manager of the Year for me all day long. Incredible turnaround, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Max Traore's numbers are starting to stack up now, considering the amount of starts he's actually had so far this season. But I was talking with Greg on the podcast we do on The Athletic, and he was saying how rare it is that you do business and every signing be a success. But I think now with the emergence of Traore, I think we can say that every summer signing we've made has been of a good standard, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I really like Traore. I think he's really good. I think he's sort of like a live wire. You never really know what you're going to get. And yeah, people talk about his one-footedness and things like that. But he scored with his right foot tonight. Unbelievable finish. But he's that good that defenders know that he's only got a left foot, but they can't stop it because he's so quick, he's sharp. And I'm so glad that he's racking up the goals as well. But yeah, like you said, every signing is coming off, and it is so refreshing as well, because we have signed some dross over the years, and it's just so refreshing to see all of them pretty much come off. Matty Cash, there was a little, people talking about, he's only played in the Championship or whatever, but he's slotted into a top 8 Premier League side, and he's looked fantastic. Martinez is an absolute coup for 16 million or whatever it was. Ross Barkley, although he's been a little bit slow in the last couple of games, he's been out for a month. It's 100% fair enough. So he'll get his sharpness back eventually. So yeah, it's really refreshing. It's so great to see all the signings come up.
Yeah, I mean, Ty as well, I think we can all agree that the squad is a little bit small. When you've got players out, the quality isn't quite there. But tonight, we're actually bringing on Trezeguet, who at the start of the season was in the team every single week. He looked raring to go. And you've got El Ghazi, who probably cannot believe he's been on the bench in the last 2 games after the run he was putting in around Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to have options. I mean, it's not something we're used to, with the speculation with Morgan Sanson, which is looking, imminent that he's going to sign for us.
Lovely
there's
French
been a lot
accent.
of tweets. That's the pronunciation of
No, it was lovely. I'm saying it was lovely. No, it was lovely.
You was being sarky, Dan. It's not very.
No, I liked it.
It's not like you to to be honest, about something like that, mate. But anyway, yeah, with that looking imminent, I mean, I've been guilty of it. I mean, it's been more so of people have been saying, oh, who does he replace? And I think we're used to that conversation of who does a new signing replace? And it isn't a replacement, is it? It's adding depth to the squad. And I think we've got to get used to players coming in and they're not starting every game, you know, that they're fighting for positions, which, you know, is really reassuring to know. You know, like having someone like McGinn out in a game like tonight, you're not really worried. But, you know, if it was against someone like Spurs, you know, you'd probably be a bit more, you know, a bit more cautious, like, oh, you know, Marvellous coming in. You know, he didn't really step a foot out of line. But, you know, you'd rather McGinn there over Marvellous, you know, but just adding depth to the squad, you know, and as you were saying with the signings that we've made over the summer, you know, long may it continue that, you know, we're not just filling up the numbers and we are signing some quality for the depth. You know, I'm feeling really excited about the rest of the season and then the summer transfer window.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's still a little bit of time in January as well. You never know. We might get a couple. Well, I don't think we will get a couple more, but you never know. One more might come in on top of Sanson in the front positions if something comes up. So it is an exciting time and it's a good time to build. Dolan, you're one that wants to see extra players because you worry about the squad depth a little. Were you a bit surprised Nakamba started tonight? Were you expecting Ramsey, Jack to be moved back into the middle? Were you surprised in that game you plumped for Nakamba?
I mean, it's the perfect game to play him in. You know, he played against Burnley, didn't he? And it was a 0-0, and I think he does the basics very well. And you know, he might not be the most pleasing on the eye, but he certainly, as Ty said, didn't put a foot wrong. Just a little note on Ramsey. I know he only came on for a few minutes, but I thought he looked absolutely incredible when he came on. There was a few little glimpses towards the end there when he sprayed that ball 20 yards.
Player.
Yeah, he looks really, really, really good. So, you know, excited to see him starting with Sanson coming in. I really do think we need another striker. I mean, I really, really do. I can't sort of go on about that anymore. You look at the bench and, you know, you see Keenan Davis. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't score goals at any level really. So I think we need to get somebody in to support Ollie Watkins. And I tell you what, that would have been a great game to stick on Louis Barry for the last 15 minutes just to see what he can do. But,
he was busy scoring hat tricks last night.
Well, exactly. But no, I just think people are talking about Jack there, but you know, sort of sulking when he came off, which I think is brilliant to see. He just wants to. But I think the reason he was taken off, and he probably didn't know that, was because he's obviously one booking away from missing the next game. So it made perfect sense to take him off. But I quite like seeing him huff. It's great, you know, because he wants it. He's hungry for it. He wants to play. Brilliant.
He wants to play every minute, doesn't he? Doesn't he, Jack? He doesn't like not being on a football pitch. I mean, he wants to play in all the cup games as well. He literally wants to be on the pitch all the time. I mean, all the social media from the club and from the players, he's flashing up on the screen as we talk. I mean, Max, I've already come to you and said about the fitness aspect and the fact that the players are recovering from COVID and stuff. But in that midfield tonight, you got Louise, who's played most games. That's only Nakamba's second Premier League start, and Barkley's returning from injury. So it has been a useful exercise tonight, and we've won the game comfortably.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it just was the perfect game because Newcastle, they're never going to give you the proper run around, are they? Yeah, they're absolutely dreadful. So we were in second gear. It's a training ground exercise at the end of the day. It's just to get fitness up. Marvellous Nakamba, he did the simple things well, mopped up well and just passed the ball easy as you like. He gave Louise as well a little bit more license to get forward. So I think he was just really comfortable in the end. And I think it's only going to serve us well because there's winnable games coming up as well. I know Burnley have just come off a win at Anfield, but you know, we can go there. It'll be a scrappy game. It'll be a tight game. But if we can nick that, we're in a really, really good position in the league as well. And then Southampton after that, another winnable game. So we're in a really good place at the moment, mate. And I'm really, really enjoying watching Villa. So it's just so exciting to see. And, you know, where can we be at the end of the season? Because we 8th. So there's a real push on there to potentially, with Sanson coming in as well and filling out the squad a little bit, there's a real push on here to potentially get to Europe. I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but it's just you know, so good to see.
That was my point. Sorry, Dan, to cut him down. Just off on Max's point there about getting into the top 6, top 7. That was my point a few weeks ago. If you're you know, the owners and the chief exec and Dean Smith, and you're looking at where we are on the table and where we're placed, I'd be throwing another 30 million at somebody to try and get somebody else in up top. You know, because
it's not the Gucci shop here, mate. You have to be a little bit careful with money.
I just don't think you're going to get a better chance this season to really attack that top five. I mean, look at West Ham and Everton. You know, we've still got 2 games in hand and 29 points. I just don't think we're going to have a better chance to really push for that top 6 spot. And I just think we just need someone in there to support Ollie Watkins. That's it. Because what if he gets injured? I know people can say that Troy can play up top, but what if Watkins gets injured? With literally nobody to turn to. So I would be looking around and seeing who else we can get in, because we're just in a really, really strong position to attack.
Yeah, I mean, Pepper in the comments at the top there is talking about Big Wes is back soon. I mean, arguably that's another option. Obviously, we don't know how fit he's going to be. He's going to need under 23 games before he's anywhere near the side. But he could end up towards the end of the season being a decent option off the bench for us. I mean, I think one of the issues for him last season, Ty, was there wasn't really any help for him and no competition. Maybe having Watkins here and him will be good for both of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's spent over a year out, and you only have to look at the likes of Ross Barkley and see him have not even a quarter of the time out that Wesley's had, and he was absolutely blowing. So he's definitely going to have to, as you said, get some under 23 games in. I'm excited for him to come back. I felt that Wesley gets a lot of stick, but I felt that watching him at Villa Park, from what I seen, in my opinion, the problem with Wesley wasn't him; it was the service to Wesley. That was part of the problem. So now we've got some great attacking going forward, and a lot of balls into the box. I'm excited to see what he can do with some quality attackers pushing forward, to see if he can fulfill his potential and give Watkins a run for his money for first place striker.
Yeah, I mean, Max, this time last year, you were trudging around the country. It was pretty miserable. I think we were all pretty fed up. But by this point, obviously, I think we had Wembley on the horizon, but the league form was a real worry. And now we're all sitting at home, unfortunately, watching the games on TV. But it's so great to be listening to the commentary and just listening to the way Jamie Carragher was talking about us tonight. It's so good to hear someone in football of his stature talking about Villa in that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially this season, we've gone quite underrated. I think everyone talks about the whole Leeds thing and Marcelo Bielsa getting all the praise.
That's gone quiet now, hasn't it?
Yeah, funny that is, isn't it? Them falling off a cliff a little bit. But I think Dean Smith is massively underrated. I don't think he gets talked about enough. Don't get me wrong, I think he does get talked about, but I think there's more praise to be put on Dean Smith's shoulders there, because we came 17th last season, and it's just so mad. And like you said, going this time last year, going around the country and just expecting us to lose away from home, and then turn up to Villa Park and just not expecting anything against anyone, really. It's just a massive change. And I just can't wait to get back into stadiums. Whenever that'll be, I don't know. But I was just thinking about it watching the game today. I know, yeah, it'll probably be next season, maybe even halfway through next season. But I was just thinking today, could you imagine if Villa Park was full and just watching just fantastic football with brilliant players? I just absolutely can't wait to get back. And just watch these players, because it feels like Martinez and Cash have been here for ages, but we still haven't seen them play in real life, which is a little bit weird. But I just can't wait to get back and watch a really great, decent Villa side.
Yeah, I mean, the man who sits in front of me in the whole end, he'd have still been booing him off today for not scoring any goals in the second half. He's absolutely never happy. And Dolan, I put a tweet out just before we came on about Ezri Konsa, and this is your moment where you'll say, I've been saying this the whole season, but I did think England talk was a bit premature towards the start of the season. But now, I mean, there's a lot of competition now because John Stones is coming to form as well. And, people like Harry Maguire are always going to get picked by Southgate. But Konsa, he's got to be in the mix because he's just so consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I've made 2 decent shouts this year. So I said Konsa, and then I said Jack was world class. But I was basing Konsa's form on the end of last season. Really, I was basing it on how good he was in those final sort of 3 or 4 games, and he just carried his form. He just carried his form into the season, and he's unbelievable. Like, he's absolutely unbelievable. I can't think of any time when he makes a mistake. I can't think of any time when he puts himself in awkward positions. He's a threat going forward. He's everything you want in a modern day centre back. He can play a bit as well. And you talk about Purslow. Was saying about, you obviously want to buy footballers with added value. What do we get him for? 12 million. He's 24, £30 million now at least. So we've probably trebled. He's probably trebled his worth in just over 12 months. So, yeah, no, absolutely incredible. You can see him being a future captain, you know, depending on how long he sticks around with us for. But somebody said about him being like the next Paul McGrath, you know, being that good. And you think of Villa over the years, we've always had one or two or three or four unbelievable centre backs. You know, I can name, you know, Melberg, Larson, Southgate, McGrath, Chester, Mings, Konza, John Terry. I mean, that's just off the top of my head, and that's over the last
Ekiog.
Do you know what I mean? Now you could go on. There's so many, like, we've so many top centre backs over the years. It's one position that we've kind of always got right, and he's up there. He's right up there at the minute, because you know all these players. This hasn't been done in 12, 13 years. We haven't seen Aston Villa play like this or be as competitive as this since 2010. You're talking 11 years, 11, 12 years. And every one of those players to a man is, it's just a joy to watch. And what I like about them as well, they all seem like really good blokes. You know, like they're like, you know, as people, they all seem really likable. And I think that's also really important to have. You know, we've got a really, really good bunch of lads who want to play for this football club and play in the right way. We've got a great coaching setup. We've got great owners. We've got a great youth academy. You know, our women's team's taking shape as well. Like we're putting a lot of investment in that, which is great to see. Our training grounds being, you know, having a makeover, and it's just, and it's all being done behind the scenes, and we're doing it very, very low key. And I swear, people still think we're skin. Honestly, like, you know, the lack of research people do these days when it comes to football clubs. People are like, where are Villa getting all this cash from? Like, do you not do your research? We're absolutely minted, and it's going so under the radar. And it's absolutely brilliant to see, man.
I think there was a table in midweek in the Athletic where they'd researched every Premier League club and how COVID had affected them financially, and actually in the Premier League, we were the best off in terms of finances and not having to borrow money and things like that. So we are in a real good place and in a place now to capitalise. Ty, what are your realistic hopes for this season? I'll ask you this every time you come on, probably, but obviously there's always a few more games gone every time you come on.
I mean, start of the season, I would have been happy with top 14, Dan, if I'm honest. Just not a season where our future's decided on the last game of the season. I just would have been happy with that. But to see how we've come in and started the season, you know, I'd be happy with anything in the top half of the table. You know, when it comes to the summer and adding more depth to the squad, we now have some pulling power of, look, we're not a team in a relegation battle. I mean, I'm glad that we never signed Rosicka, but when I look at it, it's purely because players like that are now no longer going to be thinking, oh, well, I don't want to join a club that's potentially going to go into the Championship. You know, on the back of what Dolan just said, you know, Aston Villa isn't growing just as a first team. We're growing as a football club as a whole. And that comes from the backroom staff, the training, the youth setup. You know, we're pulling in a lot of hot prospects, you know, 16-year-olds. Really are. And away from the clubs who are winning the league, you know, that lad we got from Exeter, I can't pronounce his name.
Christine.
Yes, we'll go with that as a pronunciation. I think Liverpool were in for him, you know. So when
I think Bayern were.
It's crazy to see our vision being put into these young players, and they're saying, "Yeah, I believe in that vision." You know, and it all started with Jack, the vision. You know, he's seen the vision. He's dedicated 5 years to us. And now it seems to be, you know, we've got a lot of hot prospects coming in, and it's just a really good time to be a Villa fan. And I think nobody has really been able to say that, you know, in recent years. So it's really exciting and just quite refreshing of where you're looking forward to Villa playing and not nervous about Villa playing. It's nice to replace that anxiety with excitement, especially during, you know, all these times where everyone's struggling mentally. You know, I've been buzzing for the game all day.
No,
you know, this time last year, I would have been like, oh, God, are we going to lose 1-0? You know, do you know what I mean? You just never knew how it'd go. So, yeah, mate, I'm really excited for just everything in the rest of the season. Anything in the top half of the table, success for me, mate.
Yeah, I mean, someone's just messaged saying there's over 750 people watching at the moment. So we thank each and every one of you for watching. Obviously, it's obviously more enjoyable when we're talking about Villa winning. And I saw the comment flash up, but it's gone now, and I can't remember who it was. But Max, someone was saying about the club growing now and the fact that we're growing in a way that's going to encourage Jack Grealish and make Jack Grealish want to stay now.
Yeah, exactly. And like Ty said, he's committed 5 years to us now. And just credit to the club as well, credit to the owners, because they've sat him down and they've said, look, this is where we want to be. And they've put a project in front of him and they've pointed out and said, this is where we want to be in those 5 years. And, going off your question to Ty, I think anything in the top 10, 100%. But yeah, you take top 10 and then next year with the pulling power that we've got, you're looking at Europe. You're looking at Europe in 2 years, going from a relegation scrap to Europe. That's just incredible for a club like Aston Villa, and where we've been in the last 2-3 years. Because you look at it 3 years ago, we were mid-table in the Championship, and look at it now. We're talking about Europe. Just talking about Europe and being realistic is it's absolutely mental, mate. So credit to Jack Grealish. He's got the talent around him. I think that was our problem last year. It was simply a one-man team, and I wouldn't have blamed Jack for going, because how frustrated must he have been playing last year at 2-0 away at Southampton. That game sticks out. It was just absolutely horrific, playing with poor players around him. Nothing was coming off. And he's got players around him now. He's got the talent that he deserves around him. He's getting in that England squad, every single, England group of games he's in there. He's starting for England. So he's where he wants to be. And I'm sure he will be playing in Europe for Aston Villa eventually. So 100% he's staying. And it's so exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, Dolan, I've plugged the Athletic 3 times, I think now, but Greg obviously did an interview with McGinn in the week where he's saying players that are prospectively joining Aston Villa, players that are joining Aston Villa, they're no longer seeing it as a step down. And that's a massive thing. I mean, Martinez is one. He said it as well. He said going to Villa from Arsenal as being a step up. And so far, he's bang on in what he says.
Just a few points on there. Like I think what Max was saying about Grealish having better players around him this season. I don't think he's got improved players around him. Like a lot of those players played last year. Like Luis was getting hammered. Left, right, and centre. So was Trezeguet.
Not bad.
So what? Again, credit to people like Dean Smith and the coaching staff, because they've made those players better. They've made them better. And as a manager in any profession, it's just you just want to see your team get better and progress and grow. And we've seen that in abundance with the likes of Luis and Trezeguet and Target. El Ghazi stepped up. So it's been it's just been such a massive improvement. But I'd love to know, as I said before when Jack said, I'd love to know what the owners said to them, because nobody could have foreseen us playing this well. I don't think anybody could have foreseen it going this well. There's been a couple of bumps here and there, but like very, very minor. But I'd love to sit down with the owners and just find out what their plans are. I'd just love to know what their plans are, and I know we'll never find out, but it's be really interesting to see what they said to Martinez, what they've said to Grealish, what they said to Barkley. What was it in those conversations that made players like Martinez want to leave Arsenal and come to Aston Villa off the back of a last day relegation survival? So I just think those guys are Edens and Swires are just incredible ambassadors for the football club, and what they've done since coming in is nothing short of an absolute miracle. We were on our knees 3 years ago, and now look at us. It's just staggering. It really is staggering to where we have come in the last 18 months. And I wouldn't have thought it would have went this well. And I think if you ask anyone, I think we're still a year ahead of plan. I think this was the year
easily. Yeah.
And even where we are this season, where I think we're well ahead of the game. So to be sitting in 8th place with a couple of games in hand, and you look at the teams around us, like Chelsea have spent 250 million, and it just shows you like it's about getting the right kind of player in, the right kind of player with the right kind of attitude who wants to play for your football club, and they have a manager that can improve them. And we have all of those. We have all of those in abundance, and it's as I've said after every little speech I've given here, it's a joy. Like it's an absolute joy to watch. It's a joy to watch, and it's a joy to be an Aston Villa fan. And I just love it, man. And as you can tell by my massive smile.
Give us one. Give us a smile. We haven't seen it too often over the years. Give us the smile.
Yeah,
there it is. There it is.
It's good. It's good.
I screenshotted that.
Did you? Excellent. People won't believe it unless they're one of the 750 watching right now. So I mean, I think we know that Suarez is in regular contact with Jack. I think he actually texts him quite a lot. So I think they promised Jack, obviously, things that are going to make him want to stay. I think they said to him, we'll give your mate McGinn a new contract. We'll bring in your mate Barkley. We'll bring in one of your mates every summer. So let's watch out and see what happens next summer. I think Jack Grealish has a big say in what goes on at Villa, and they want to build Villa around him. I mean, a bit like the Bucks with Giannis, they've built that empire around him, and I really, really think the owners are going to do the same with Jack. I think they'll entice him to stay each season, because obviously Jack can go and play anywhere he wants if he chooses to. But I really think he's going to grow with the football club. We're in an excellent place, and it's very, very exciting. Now, normally I might ask you a little bit about the game ahead, but we have actually got a match preview coming up next week in association with BT, so we'll save all the Burnley chat for there. So what I will do is I'll go to each of you and just ask you quite simply for your man of the match this evening. So I'll go to you first, Max.
I'm going to go with Ezri Konsa. I love Chris's speech earlier about him, and how he's a real contender for this England squad now for the Euros. And like you said, there's players like John Stones and other English centre halves that are doing really well at the moment. The couple at Burnley as well, Tarkowski and Ben Mee, they were fantastic the night against Liverpool. But I generally think Konsa especially is really, really in contention for the Euros. I think there was another couple as well, but I'll leave them to the other boys. But for me, it was definitely Ezri Konsa.
Ty?
Yeah, same for me, mate. I reckon Ezri Konsa, on the back of Max's comments to do with the Euros. I mean, one problem that we've got in the England team at the minute is we've probably got too many good players, which isn't a bad problem to have. But yeah, Ezri Konsa, massive game today, as usual. Man of the match for me.
Dolan, is he going to be a clean sweep?
It's going to be Matthew Targett for me. Matty Targett.
Okay.
Hands down.
He always has to be different. He always has to be different, doesn't he?
I don't think Konsa had much to do. I don't think Mings and Konsa really had. They weren't troubles. I mean, what they did was 10 out of 10. But I just think just off the back of the City game and coming off, and then just being in the right place, making great slide tackles, making great blocks, interceptions, assisted Watkins' goal. Even first few minutes when Watkins had that chance that flashed across the post, that was a great ball from Matt Targett. So for me, Matty Targett, I love the fact that he's come on again leaps and bounds. We got laughed at for spending 18 million quid on him, and he's looking every bit the 18 million pound left back that we signed. But yeah, who would you pick? Who's your man?
I'd go Konsa as well, because as much as Newcastle didn't massively trouble us, I think he was a big reason for that. I think a lot of crosses came in the box, and when they did, it felt like Konsa was always there to deal with them. I think when Mings got himself in a bit of trouble, Konsa was there in the right position again to. I've just laughed at the comment at the top. Konsa was there again to mop up. So I'm going to go for Konsa as well. I think that just about does us for tonight's show. Don't forget, this show is in association with Purity, so if you do want to get yourself some beer goodies, some ale goodies, some Villa beer and ale goodies, then go onto their website.
Because you're not drinking. What? You're not drinking this one, so it's not a waste. You're getting all this free booze, and it's just sitting in your kitchen.
I'm not getting any free booze, Chris. Don't spread vicious rumours. I'm just promoting our sponsors, Chris, and you've interrupted me. You're an absolute disgrace. If the show was sponsored by Gucci, you just sit there and not say anything because it's not Gucci. You have to open your mouth. So yeah, everyone knows the drill with Purity by now. The code is #VillaView, despite Dolan trying to get in my way. So yeah, 10% off if you use that. And on a serious note, before I go, our show on Wednesday after the game was dedicated to Jack Ryan, who sadly lost his life last week in Battersea, on Battersea Bridge. So there is a petition to make that bridge a little bit safer at the moment. Jack was a massive Villa fan, only 29 years old, and what's happened to him is absolutely tragic. So you'll see the link at the top of the screen there. The last time I checked, it was well over 15,000 people had signed, and I'd wager a lot of them would have been Villa fans throwing their support behind it. So thanks to everyone who's done that. And please, if you haven't got in on that link and had a look at the petition, and go and sign it, because what happened to Jack is absolutely tragic, and we don't want that happening to anyone else. As I say, we have got a preview coming up. I think it'll be out on Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, wait for that. And obviously we'll have the post-match point in association with Purity, not Gucci, after the game on Wednesday as well. Thanks to Dolan, Max and Ty for joining us. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk about 3 points. No VAR controversy as well, which is completely unusual at the end of a Villa game. Usually when there's no VAR controversy, we win the game. So let's hope there's more of that next week. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.